The prehistoric sky also had some animals that have become quite famous today. One of them is the pterodactyl. To get to know it up close, I invite you to travel with me and learn details about what this incredible animal was like and how it lived. You won't have another opportunity to see so many details up close. I'm landing in the time period between 150 million and 148 million years ago. That's when the real pterodactyl lived. It belonged to the pterosaur group, which weren't birds but flying lizards. This group, incidentally, emerged 228 million years ago in the late Triassic period and became extinct at the end of the Cretaceous period 66 million years ago.
As soon as I arrive, I look at the sky and am surprised. I see many pterodactyls, and contrary to what I imagined, they were small. Their wingspan was between 1 meter and 1.5 meters, and their weight varied between 1 kilogram and 5 kilograms. Their torso was small, like that of a falcon. Their beak was long, and their wings were extensive. Their pneumatic bones made them light enough to fly, even with such long wings. They had pycnofibers, structures similar to fine hairs. This suggests that they were warm-blooded animals and used this coat to avoid losing heat while sleeping on cooler nights. Little by little, I understand that the confusion with giant flying animals is due to their relatives that lived in the Cretaceous period. I'm probably in what is now the Solnhofen Archipelago in Bavaria, Germany. That's where most pterodactyl fossils have been found. They lived in coastal areas. They preferred the shores of saltwater lagoons with easy access to food, namely fish and small crustaceans. It was easy, and trees or low rocks served as perches.
Speaking of food, I observed some pterodactyls feeding. They fish and hunt with great skill. They are prepared for this, after all. Their beak is a precision tool designed to capture fish and small crustaceans, but also insects on land, and even small animals wandering around on the beach. The pterodactyl had about 90 short conical teeth concentrated at the front of its beak. They functioned like a pincer or a cage of teeth to ensure that once the fish was caught, it could not slip back into the water. However, it did not chew its prey. It simply swallowed them. I'm looking for a pterodactyl nest, but I can't find one. They don't use that tangle of twigs or straw in trees. They prefer cliffs, rocks by the sea, or the ground in protected areas to make their nests. Due to the shape of their claws, they were excellent climbers, able to easily grip vertical surfaces to escape terrestrial predators at night. In this trip down memory lane, I realize how pterodactyls take off, a question that has intrigued science for years. They use quadrupedal takeoff, a jump on all fours. Their feet and wingtips act like springs, allowing them to achieve a great upward and forward impulse in a fraction of a second. It was a catapult-like movement. To take off from the water, they used a vigorous rowing motion with their wings against the water's surface, creating the necessary thrust to overcome surface tension and rise. In addition to flying, pterodactyls were also quite adept on the ground. They walked well as quadrupeds, as they also supported themselves on the tips of their wings, which were folded to the side.
Stop now and pay attention to this. Dinosaurs like this. Here are the 15 most dangerous that ever existed. Brutal predators with hunting strategies, lethal weapons, and true stories that seem like something out of a movie, but are 100% true. This ebook reveals details that most people have never heard of, and once you start, it's impossible to stop reading. If you want to discover who really ruled the Earth, access is in the link in the description and in the first comment. But hurry, because after you see this, there's no going back.
As for enemies, the pterodactyl needed to be wary in every way. Rivals were in the air, on land, and in the water. In the sky, it had to watch out for the Archaeopteryx, considered the first bird. Both competed for fish and small insects. The difference between them is that the pterodactyl was a master of gliding flight, and the Archaeopteryx had feathers and was more agile in short maneuvers between the trees. The Compsognathus was the terrestrial enemy. This carnivorous dinosaur, the size of a turkey, was fast enough to pounce, especially if the pterodactyl was drinking water or resting on the ground. In the water, the enemy was almost invisible. Marine crocodilomorphs could leap out of the water to snatch a pterodactyl that was flying low or simply floating. And then there were the larger pterosaurs, such as the Rhamphorhynchus, which had a long tail and even frightening teeth. They often drove pterodactyls out of premium fishing areas or could even attack their young. The pterodactyl's weakness was its own fragility. It even struggled during storms. Because they were extremely light, a very strong wind could throw them against rocks or carry them out to the open sea, where they would drown because they could not take off in rough waters. Their wings were also very delicate. A simple tear in the wing membrane caused by a fight or a dry branch could mean it would never fly again, which was essentially a quick death sentence.
If the adults were fragile, imagine the hatchlings. Their eggs were not hard like chicken eggs, but soft and flexible. They had to be buried in sand or moist soil to absorb water and avoid drying out. When the hatchlings were born, they weighed between 10 grams and 30 grams and were very small. However, they were extremely precocious. Shortly after hatching, they were already able to make short flights. Because of this, they did not stay in the nest waiting for food. They had to fend for themselves almost immediately.
The hatchlings grew quickly during the first months to avoid being eaten by larger insects, lizards, or other pterosaurs. However, it still took time for them to reach their maximum size. When they were still very small, they probably fed on tiny insects. As they grew and their beaks became stronger, they began hunting small fish along the edges of lagoons. This was because, over time, their beaks became longer and the number of teeth increased.
A major debate among scientists concerns parental care. Some believe that since pterodactyls hatched already well-developed, the mother would lay the eggs and then leave. Others, however, think that the parents might have provided some kind of training before leaving the hatchlings. What is certain is that young pterodactyls occupied a different place in the food chain compared to adults. They were like mini reptiles that helped clean the environment of insects, while the adults focused on catching fish.
Pterodactyls were flying reptiles, so they likely produced sounds similar to those of land-dwelling reptiles. They may also have communicated by clacking their beaks, much like storks do. This sound could have been used to warn rivals that a fishing territory was already claimed, or to attract mates during the mating season.
There is a scientific debate about how pterodactyls slept. Some scientists believe they slept hanging upside down, like bats, in rock crevices or on branches using the claws of their hind legs. This would have made takeoff easier. They would only need to release their grip and drop into the air. However, the most likely scenario is that they slept crouched on all fours on flat surfaces, such as cliff plateaus, in crevices, or on wide branches, with their necks tucked in and their wings folded back close to their bodies.
It is likely that pterosaurs had a unihemispheric sleep system. This means they could switch off one half of the brain while the other half remained alert to watch for predators or changes in the wind. They needed to be ready to perform that quadrupedal catapult launch at any second.
A pterodactyl's sleep also served to conserve energy since they were flyers and had a high metabolism. Sleep was not just rest, but a critical need to recover the energy spent during flight. However, they probably did not sleep for many continuous hours like humans. It is more likely that they took several naps throughout the day and night, totaling between 12 and 15 hours of sleep.
Pterodactyls lived in communities, and this was reflected even in their sleeping habits. They slept in colonies on cliffs, which increased their chances of survival. If one animal noticed danger and made a clacking sound with its beak or flapped its wings, the entire colony would wake up and take off at once, confusing the predator. They also gathered together to lay eggs and to find food. However, social life required constant communication to avoid fights. Who would get the best fish or the best spot on the cliff? They probably did not fight, but instead used visual displays and produced sounds by clacking their own beaks to resolve disputes. The existence of pterodactyls was discovered around 1784 when the Italian naturalist Cosimo Alessandro Collini found a fossil in the famous limestone quarries of Solnhofen in Bavaria, Germany. He believed the animal was a marine creature that used its long arms as fins to swim. After all, at that time there was no knowledge of flying animals in prehistory. It was only in 1801 that the famous French naturalist Georges Cuvier, the father of comparative paleontology, analyzed drawings of the fossil and realized that the extremely long fourth finger served to support a membrane of skin. Because of this, he declared that the animal was a reptile and that it could fly. The Bavarian State Collection of Paleontology in Munich, Germany, holds some of the best original specimens in the world, including many found in Solnhofen. The first original specimen described by Collini in 1784 can be seen at the Tylers Museum in Haarlem, the Netherlands.
Did you enjoy learning a little more about how I lived? What caught your attention most in my story? Tell us in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and share this video. A hug from prehistory.